I know that silver border cards tend to have a bit of a stigma as kind of just being joke cards or never meant to be played outside of Limited, but come on, don't you think that's kind of stupid? I mean, personally, I've never gone to draft and thought, man, I can't wait to throw all of these in the garbage later. So I have no idea why we all just decided to ignore these cards when it came to Commander, but that was never the intent of the designers. Regardless though, this stigma really did stick with the community. And that sucks! Because I think the silver border experience, DM, can give nearly any Commander deck some extra fun moments. Right, but there's just too many uncards, Ashley. Where would I even start? Dude, what the hell? How'd you get into my house? I would say that in terms of enhancements, there's like 3 types a silver border card can bring to a game. And this one's my personal favorite, because it's the cards that leave you with a really good story afterwards. Before you get into this first card though, I need to tell you about my friend's Zuladoc deck, which plays the, infamously chill and never at all a problem Emrakul the Eon Storm. Yeah, no, we seriously let him play that. When he first suggested the idea, the pod was a bit apprehensive though, but kinda just decided to let him have his fun. And I gotta say, that was one of the craziest games of Commander I've ever seen. I mean, the moment that thing hit the table, control spells started flying everywhere. Everybody wanted to control this thing. It was basically just capture the flag with this giant 15-15. And those are the games that stick with you. Whether you won or lost that day, you got to leave the pod with a story about the time Emrakul hit the table in a Commander game. Isn't that just nuts? So I think playing a banned card, albeit sparingly, can be fun for the whole table. Which is why my first suggestion is Spike, Tournament Grinder. Spike lets you pay 4 mana, or 8 life if we're feeling fancy, to tutor any banned magic card directly into your hand. And yeah, the ability to tutor may seem a little bit pushed, but I think that's what actually makes this card fair. Look, we all know Commander only works as long as we all agree not to be jerks. Spike lets you choose exactly what card you want to put into your hand, and so you can assess the table and make sure that what you're bringing in is actually fun. So no, I'm not suggesting you just get a channel every time and get a cheap instant win. Remember, we're looking for a fun time here and not a new meta. Now, this next card might ruffle some feathers, because I know a lot of you love defending the sanctity of the game.
Back in my day, we used to have real magic cards, none of this 15-15 word 3 crossover bullcrap. I hate Doctor Who. Ah.
And to all of you who are concerned, really, from the bottom of my heart, screw you, we're playing Applejack. Applejack's end step ability lets you put a toy. Yes, toy you own onto the battlefield. If it has wings, it gets flying. If it has a horn, scry 2. And then its color and creature types are just determined by what toy it is. First up, don't discredit the idea of bringing outside items in as play pieces, because you'd be surprised how quickly a table gets attached to stuff like that. During a chaos draft that one of my friends ran last year, I picked up an animate object, which brought birth to the scariest creature in all of Magic, Beeble the Swiss Army knife. I put little counters on his arm. Moments like that just make for fantastic inside jokes with your playgroup. And plus, the choice of color and creature type being left up in the air leads to so many fun arguments. Let's say you're playing Applejack in a humans deck, because you just want to make more 2/2 humans each turn. But after a while, you run out of toys. All you have left is this crappy old Skeletor. This just leads to a whole heap of problems. I mean, first of all, is Skeletor human? Like, he has a skeleton mask, but you can't tell me that's not a human physique. And also, what colors is he? I mean, black in nature, maybe, but, he's blue! You see the mirror? Why am I talking about Skeletor again? It's these types of debates and wacky game states that can really bring a playgroup closer together. Once you break down the barriers of what Magic can be, you'll find yourself with a lot more fun stories at the end of your Commander sessions. And that segues really nicely into the next category of cards, which are those that change how Magic is played entirely. If you've been playing for as long as I have, you're kind of just bound to get bored of the normal rules eventually. I mean, why do I have to start at 40 life? Why do I have to have 100 cards in my deck? Why can't I be a card in my deck, for Christ's sake? I've earned it. All of these can be turned upside down with this next card. Form of the Approach of the Second Sun. When it enters the battlefield, you become a magic card in your deck. 7 from the top to be exact. And all cards on top of you must be stacked on top of your head. Seems fair, right? If those cards fall off your head, they all get exiled. But if you manage to draw yourself, you get to win the game. Screw you, Post Malone. Everyone gets to be on a magic card now. And this win condition actually gives your opponents a lot of counterplay options. They can just remove the enchantment if they're boring, I guess. But also they could try to, I don't know, startle you, or I don't know, start a magnitude 5 earthquake. Just nice casual stuff, you know? It's a card that's gonna be riddled with flaps and shenanigans when it enters the battlefield. And the fact that it has so much counterplay means you don't just have an instant win button here. So it's pretty fair. Another card that falls into this rules bending category is Broadway sensation Alexander Clamilton, which lets you scry 2 whenever you cast a spell with 4 lines of text or more. Look, as an Izzet player, I've received a ton of comments about how worthy all the cards I play are. And, okay, yeah, fair enough. But if people hated it before, well, they're gonna hate it a lot now. Because this card also doubles as a form of removal. Flavorful removal. We get to pick a card our opponent controls, and then reveal the top card of our library. Linclamo Miranda will get then a power boost, based on how many lines of text the card has. And then both cards just duel it out, just like in the musical. Every time a Chaos Warp resolves, I feel like the whole table has a lot of fun with it. I mean, these top deck effects are always super exciting. And Clamilton just gives you more of them while also doubling as super fair removal, since if you can't protect it, it's gonna die in combat a lot, because it has to actually fight the creature. Although, it would be pretty flavorful if you let it lose a couple of combats, you know? These two cards are silver border because they either care about stuff Magic shouldn't normally care about, or they require some kind of skill challenge. And in competitive formats, I think that's totally fair. These should never be played. But I think your kitchen table is the perfect place to see how much you could push the Magic rulebook. You do want to find a nice balance though. You never want your silver border cards to be so powerful that everybody has to play them. A fully black border deck should still be able to stand a chance against yours. So remember, look for fun and not a new meta. And if it's only fun that you're after, and definitely nothing meta playable, might I suggest some good old chaos? I'm sorry, Prof, but we all love cracking a booster every now and then. A little game of chance can be super exciting when done responsibly. Although, with this first card, we're looking to throw all that responsibility out the window. Because we're playing Strategy Schmatragy, a card that lets you roll a dice and turn the game in any random direction. You can either do nothing, destroy all artifacts, destroy all lands, deal 3 damage to each creature and player, make every player discard their hand and draw a fresh 7, or repeat this process 2 more times. As a Hail Mary, I think this card is fantastic. Because if you're already in a losing position, you can either be losing more or completely turn the tides in a game. But the reason why I like this one so much is because it's symmetrical. Everyone gets burned the exact same, so it's all fair, right guys? Yeah, alright, this card may not be for everybody. I would say try it a couple of times and see how it goes, but don't be mad if people want to take it out. It is basically just Armageddon in red after all. It's worth noting that it can kind of be controlled with dice replacement effects, but the same cannot be said for this next card, Urza Planeswalker. The other one. That's right! Before Brothersword gave us this big boy, there was only one way to put counters on the senior citizen. If you want to call upon Urza for help, you need to ask Urza.com for it by going to this website and letting it decide what its abilities are for you. Give the man some agency, goddammit, he's earned it. If the table isn't dealing with Urza quickly, he could really spiral out of control, because some of these ultimates are absolutely bonkers. We're lucky that he keeps himself in check by only having a 5% chance to land on each one, so you can't really get a good win con out of him. Not a consistent one at least. These Chaos cards make every game they're in play a little bit differently, and isn't that kind of the problem with Commander right now? We're all playing the same 10 or 20 EDH-Rec staples, and all games have become super homogenized because of it. So big advantage of opening your table up to the silver border is getting 400 new cards to play around with. So go have some fun! See what you and your friends can make when all of Magic is at your disposal. And just let your games get a little sillier. You'll really thank yourself for it. Now I want to hear from you though. What silver border cards do you think would make for good Commander inclusions? Let me know in the comments below, and make sure to like and subscribe if you like what I do here. Alright? I'm out.